Hello, Vlad. Everyone, hello, I'm Jenny Klochko. Welcome to my Thursday live, and we're very lucky to have guests today. Vlad from International Legion of Ukraine, and finally we made it. And Vlad joined us with lots of stories about summertime in Ukraine, and he was very busy driving around Ukraine, showing the film and the crew to Ukrainians who are very lucky at the moment because you can go everywhere. Are those the cinemas all over the country, Vlad?
Yes, up to now we have broadcasting in cinemas. Can't hear you. Is it okay? Hello.
Guys, let us know if you can hear us.
Hello.
Hello, Dan Smith.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. If you can hear us. Okay, I can hear you there. Where I'm watching the Mark C says hello. Hello, Mark. Can you hear both of us?
Do you hear me?
Yes. Okay, Vlad. So.
Do you hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
I can hear you where I'm watching our chat, but I don't hear you. Yes. Okay. So.
Do you hear me? Okay.
Oh, fantastic. Mark says, do you know Lionel Messi? Oh, okay.
Do you hear me? No? Okay.
Oh, fantastic. Mark says, do you know Lionel Messi? Oh, okay.
Do you hear me? No?
Yes, I can hear you where I'm watching our chat, but not where I am going live.
Let me switch off and then switch on again. Do you hear me? No?
Yes, I can hear you where I'm watching our chat, but not where I am going live.
Let me
reconnect. Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Hello.
I know what I do. What if I
Hello.
do this? Yes, that's better. So now what? Because I connected my microphone, and that's me and technologies. Okay, Vlad, have you made it to Kiev today?
One more time, please. Have I made what?
To Kiev today, because you were driving around to show a film in different parts of the country and introducing documentaries, Summertime in Ukraine, about Legionnaires. So,
okay, so we had 1 week of premieres, not all over the country, but in main big cities in the western part of Ukraine. So we had premiere first of all, in Kiev, we had in Lviv, in Ternopil, in Ivano-Frankivsk, and there was premiere also in Odessa. And as far as I understand, soon we'll have also one more premiere in Kiev because the attention to the movie raises. People love it because it's really not regular documentary about the war, not regular documentary about military, and audience is really surprised because it's really positive and really enlightened, right? Movie. So we have something like in Ukrainian documentary, not we, but in Ukrainian documentary business, there is some kind of rating. Yes. How many people visited the first weekend of broadcasting in cinemas? and up to now, the summertime in Ukraine is second place after 20 days in Mariupol.
Oh,
So
wow.
amount of people that showed up and that watched the film, bought tickets in cinemas, it's the second place now, and feedback is very, very, really positive, and we're happy about this.
Well, I can imagine. Tell us about film, because obviously at the moment outside of Ukraine we can't watch it, and no matter how I tried to convince Vlad to give me some secret access, it's never happened. So all I could enjoy, it was the trailer. So if you Google on or go on YouTube and say "Summertime in Ukraine," International Legion, you will enjoy yourself, and you will see how amazing the guys, how contagious they are. Positivity, the inspiration, the energy. And the more I watch it, the more I watch the trailer, the more I'm getting excited and can't wait the moment I watch the film. So, Vlad, tell us more about it.
Yeah, so up to now, you can see it only in Ukrainian main networks of Ukrainian cinema, like kinoteatry, cinemas, yes. But we work on, and I think in couple weeks, in a month, we will start broadcast and deliver it to the Western countries. So it will be in the Western broadcasters networks, but little bit soon. There are some reasons about this, but it will be. And also it will be in online in some main platforms, yes, platforms like. So the movie is the product that was made in cooperation between very famous Ukrainian documentary company Babylon 13 and their main director and main producer Volodymyr Tikhy. Babylon 13, it's the documentary company that exists more than 10 years, and they're very famous in our country. They did a lot of very awesome and very high quality documentaries about revolution of dignity, and a lot about Ukrainian armed forces, about Ukrainian society. So it's our main, the biggest, and the most awesome documentary film company in our country. So it was cooperation between this film company and our unit, DIU Legion, the International Legion of Defense Intelligence of Ukraine. Our unit is special activity unit of our military intelligence agency. Its special activity is more about special operation guys with night goggles and everything like this. So it was the product that we did together. It was very good. It was very good teamwork, because when these guys from these guys that did this filming and editing and assembling of this movie, they're documentary, and we didn't have, I don't know this English term, scenario. So it was done like day to day. We didn't have any kind of scenario. We just had an intent, and the general intent was to show Ukrainian reality, to show what's going on here through the perspective and through the eyes and through the American Western brain and mindset. Not how we Ukrainians see what's going on here and what we meet here, but how guys from abroad, guys from US see this reality, and how they not feel it, yes, how they understand it, and how it looks through their mindset. So we started working, and the film shows the period of time since the spring till autumn of 2024. That's why it's summertime in Ukraine, because spring, autumn, summer inside, and it
Winter
shows.
would be uglier with all the mud. Winter time would be uglier. Unless you're lucky to have white fields and snow and everything. Otherwise, it's all muddy and wet and cold.
We now have a joke, the main joke, that next year we will create the next movie. It will be winter time in Ukraine. Then we will create 1 year in Ukraine, but it's a joke. Then we will create something like Marvel Universe. We will make trilogy about each hero, then combine it together. But this is a joke. So it shows guys from US that are here, and they describe how they live, how they train, how they make fun, how they make jokes, how they go and prepare to the deployment, then how they go to the missions, what they feel and what do they see, and how they behave on missions. So this is about guys. The main characters are from US.
Why? Why US?
It wasn't like intent to show US guys. First of all, our unit is fulfilled not with professional movie actors. And the first, not a problem, but the first case that we had to find solution was to find characters for this movie, and and through them to show what we wanted to show. Yes.
Did you have that casting? Did you have to choose casting, like deciding who is
no.
writer?
And when you bring like filming crew to the unit, and they meet like soldiers, they meet like special activity guys that are here first of all to fight, but not to be heroes from the movie.
That's exactly where I was thinking.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you. But I understand why filmmakers want to make this document, but I don't understand why you and guys need it. I'm sure you have like lots of stuff to do, and you actually need to do the war.
The biggest part of the movie was filmed not during the war, not during the missions. The biggest part was done with the part of the unit that had pre-deployment training. So it was quite safe conditions. It's the main filming piece. And I'll continue. When you bring, for me, like an officer that was responsible for establishing this coordination, yes, I even have a joke now that when I decided to join the intelligence agency, I never thought that I'll become a co-producer of the full documentary movie. But it's fun, and you can see it in the cinemas. So when you bring filming crew to the guys, not all of them understand what it's all about. Yes, and not everybody wanted to be exposed. Not everybody wanted to be public. Yes, and not everybody wanted to. They are here to fight, but not to make movies. That's why how one of the directors of this movie told the phrase, let's start filming, but then we didn't even have characters, guys who will be filmed in this movie. So it happened somehow. So these guys, they were like really cool on camera. They were okay about be filmed. And that's why a filming crew started to work with them. And this director of the show, he called it the movie magic. So movie magic happened, and I think that we chose really right guys. One of them is now a couple months ago he got Ukrainian citizenship.
We're talking about Murray, who was on this podcast.
Murray, yes. Murray.
And he told his story. So if you enjoy the International Legion stories, please find the video of Murray on the podcast.
Yes. So one of these guys, he joined the unit in the beginning of 2024, couple months before this filming process started. So I can just imagine. He made a decision, one of the most complicated decisions of his life, to travel to Ukraine, to join the military, yes, and to join the unit. He showed up in the unit. He went through all this selection process that I described to you previous podcast. And then he was told that, hey, bro, we need you to be a part of our documentary. And he was like, sir, it's a joke, but
Did they have chance, Vlad? Did they have chance to say no?
of course. Nobody. It wasn't like order, like you will be part of the movie. We are first of all volunteers unit, and as I told you during previous podcasts, every guy after 6 months of service he can leave, and that's what it's first of all volunteers unit, and it was guys who are ready. Yes, who wasn't ready. There are a lot of guys in this movie that are shown during training process, during like preparation to missions process. But if they didn't want to be exposed, they just wear the buff or balaclava.
By the way, about being exposed, I have to tell our viewers that Vlad, it's not first time on the podcast. It's your second time, but this is the first time when we can see your face, because the month ago, when the episode with your interview was published, you were secretly present. You were wearing your balaclava.
Yeah, that's why the sound was so awful. Yes.
No, that was all good. That was all nice. No, it's just like it's today's special moment. Everyone exposed.
Yeah, this is my first exposing in with like English speaking. So I did interview Ukrainian on Ukrainian television a couple days ago. So it was debut, and now it's first for English audience, English speaking audience.
Yeah, but you're not just a representative or not doing just communication. You also fight yourself. And I know this decision to be publicly known, recognizable, it wasn't made easy for you. Do you regret?
So it was something like, hey, Vlad, we need somebody like exposed to represent unit from Ukrainian officer's side. So think about it. You know, when your boss tells you think about it, it means like,
yes, sir. Okay.
so
Vlad,
it wasn't my initiative actually. So there is a need.
We have a question here from Mark C. He says, it would be interesting to compare Intel work movie making. So what do you think? Would be interesting to compare. I think it's sort of like intelligence work and movie making. I think this is what he's... and I'm saying hello to Joni. He's regular on the podcast. Hi, Joni. Okay, so if you compare intelligence work and movie making,
intelligence work. So actually, our main specialty of the unit is not intelligence. I know in Western terminology there is a little bit difference between intelligence, reconnaissance, yes, and intelligence is something about James Bond stuff. You know.
Well, yeah, but you're part of the defense intelligence, Mr. Budanov, and
yes, but
the spies in Ukraine.
Yes, but our organization is very big and it has different branches. And these different branches, each has some specific speciality. Our main speciality is special activity unit. It's really high mobile, very good trained, and really good organized. Something like special forces, but it's not actually special forces. Let's not like go too deep to this terminology, and this it. So it's more about running and fighting, but not intelligence in the meaning that we're actually not spies. We don't do some secret missions in enemy territory in some
So
Siberia.
you don't cross the front line and do some useful.
So it's more about it. If we do something like this, it's more about reconnaissance. It's like reconnaissance. It's a little bit different. Just Google it. So there are terms in Wikipedia. It's much more easier to understand. So intelligence is more about spies. Spies like that try to steal some document. To make a copy of document, then to deliver it during the night through the border. Like then tin 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 tin.
Or to help enemies' fighter jet to explode, or the ammunition warehouses to set on fire. That kind of work as well exists, doesn't it?
Our main specialty were special activity units.
Okay.
It's a term, and it explains a lot.
Do you, the guys who is in your unit, do they need to have special previous military experience? Do they need to have kind of understanding and sort of the war? I know in the trailer, those guys who were part of the summertime in Ukraine documentary, they say, don't, if you think about the war in Iraq, blah, 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 don't think about it. It doesn't make sense because it's different. This war is different. But do you need to have any military experience for guys to join your unit?
If we discuss foreigners, there is no rule that only guys with experience of service or combat experience can join the unit. We accept guys without, because we have very well organized pipeline of training. So during these months of training, months and months, they get all the most actual, yes, relevant experience that they need to serve then. So there is no rule, but they still need to go through selection. They still need to go through this basic course. Then they still need to go through the pre-deployment training with their unit and their team. So we have guys that showed up here like brand new. It's no problem.
Vlad, and Mark was asking, if we compare your daily duty or your responsibilities to the movie making, how would you say? Would you say movie making is sort of like more for your soul, to relax, to have fun, or it's another kind of exhausting work?
From my perspective, my personal experience, it was all about coordination and between the movie company and the coordination between units, because this movie company has to meet these guys somehow, so they need to be coordinated where and when. So I had to set up all these. So when is the best moment to show up? Yes. So it was more about like producing, but not running with camera. And my personal responsibility was to provide the profesійне відношення, how to say it.
Professional attitude.
Yes, professional attitude from the side of our unit. So not only for us it's supposed to be comfortable, but I wanted, and my team wanted, to create really good environment and really efficient environment for guys that worked with us. And there were tons of different specific little problems, that we had to find solutions and to make this movie happen. So yes, it was. From my perspective, it was just management and coordination. From the perspective of guys, it was fun. One of these guys told during these premieres, when they did this speaking with audience, one lady, and during the question and answer session in one of the cities, I don't remember, asked, guys, what did you feel when you played in the movie? And these guys, they have like awesome sense of humor. And one of the guys told, for us it was just training, just living, just talking, just hanging around, just making fun. But some guy with camera was running around between us, So it wasn't like художній film. It's a художній film.
It's a fictional film. Fiction.
Yes, it was documentary. So guys lived, like, had conversations. There was no scenario. They just provided the daily basis, daily routine and activity. And our partners from this film company, they just filmed the process. And
You saying that you were sort of trying to make sure that it's sort of safe as well for the crew and while they're filming. But I'm sure you have. I presume, I expect so. You have some sort of like edgy moments when everyone's like, oh, it's really dangerous. Or, oh my goodness, is he injured or something like that? Because eventually it's a documentary about war, so everyone expects something live, death, at least, sort of some shivering.
when you will watch this movie, you will understand what I try to explain. Very lot of people, they told the phrase that this movie is not what they expected before they showed up in cinema. It's actually not the movie about the war. And there is, as one lady mentioned in her social media, that this movie wakes up some light, some positive, and some very good feeling, but not retraumatization. Do you have this term?
Yeah.
So it's not about watching the war. Yes, it's more about psychology. It's very
Hmm.
psychological movie with really, from my perspective, very deep senses. So this movie about characters, first of all, and this movie is done not for people that know what's the difference between special activity and special operation forces, that they don't know what's the difference between AR-15 and automat Kalashnikov. It's not for the professionals, for military professionals. This movie from the very beginning was done for wide audience, and we discussed with each other that we should do it like for домохозяйки, housewives,
Housewives.
for housewives somewhere in Nebraska or somewhere in London, that they could watch these guys, not very lot of these military specifics or some military terms, and they can watch this movie. Yes, they can have very good time and level up their understanding of what's going on is here. So it's psychological movie, it's educational movie, it's entertainment movie. Yes, so I told that the biggest part of this movie was filmed in quite safe place during training, during guys eating, during they arguing, making fun, using Ukrainian ugly words and these dirty words, these Ukrainian words. The main, as we see now, it was the most funniest places in the parts of the movie. So something like this, yes.
So you were gonna say, or you're trying to say, that all the Americans who came to Ukraine to protect freedom, democracy, to protect life in Ukraine, and Ukrainian children, their future, they also learned the swearing words, and nowadays using it here and there all the time.
We now we call it Legionnaire slang. Yes, when the guys speak, Ukrainian guy and a Ukrainian officer or Ukrainian fighter speaks to some legionnaire from some country. In this movie, not only Americans, there are a lot of other characters from other countries, from Ichkeria, from Great Britain, from Finland, and from other. They also give interviews and they describe what they think and how they see this or this topic of the movie. But we call it Legionnaire slang. When English-speaking guys speak to Ukrainian or from other country, they speak English, but they use Ukrainian dirty words. Both sides use it, so it's a joke. We don't call it like this, but it's Yes, but I don't want to use these words because I am official representative of very.
Yes, you shouldn't. But there are. I have to tell our viewers. A couple of days ago, I sent you the clip. On Reels, I was recommended on Instagram the small clips like guys chatting. I guess it's sort of like maybe Q&A session on the film or something, because there are a few of them, and they sharing the experience with the Ukrainian swearing words, and it's quite funny because first of all, the way how they use it, the stories come in with it, so you might come across these reels on Instagram. The only problem, you need to know Ukrainian swearing words to make most of it. So yeah, you can start learning now. Might be useful. So, Vlad, I understand all the guys, thick skin, more or less. I understand they sort of like they hardened during the war and fighting, but they must have been having their meltdown moments, some emotional moments, for example, I don't know, some romantic story, I don't know, broken hearted, or maybe they losing their comrades. You know, every movie needs a bit of tragedy, a bit this like emotional splash. Do you have those moments in the documentary?
I think this movie is one big like series of this type of moments.
Okay.
Yes, so it's when I was sitting in cinema, yes, with audience and premiere show, that during all the film, people was laughing, was positive feedback, and so yes, there are a lot, but I don't want to describe these moments. Just see it, and I don't want
to spoil it for us.
Yes, I don't want to spoil. Yes, I don't want to spoil, and I don't want to influence on your feedback. Yes, I want to leave your right, to have your own point of view, to not like designate this means this means this. It's also very interesting. It's very interesting. Before this movie was released to the cinema, actually, I saw it very lot of times because we did it. Yes, and guys from movie company like always called, "Hey Vlad, we need this what country this guy from?" Like, so, and I had to watch all this movie, but then I had my personal stress during premiere, because it's premiere and you don't know if audience will like it or not. So it was like, and in next city, when I was relaxed, yes, because everything is going cool, I actually just sat like regular guy in the cinema theater. Bought this big like popcorn box, and decided to watch the movie actually, yeah, to with attention, deep, and found even very lot of really tiny specific details that I'd never seen before. Then we had the premiere in the next city, and guys like Murray and other, they also were there, and they were little bit tired to watch it one more time, and they said, "We will go like smoking, we will go eat some pizza until people watch. Vlad, are you going with us?" And I was like, "No, I'll watch it one more time." Yeah, so I watched this movie in every new city, because it became interesting, really interesting, because every time I watch this movie, I see some little specific details that I've never seen before. The last time, and I've caught myself on a feeling when він не набридає, не надоїдає.
Yeah, it's
you don't become tired of it,
yes.
when you watch it next time. The only one movie in my life that I had the same experience, that I watched 6 times in the cinema. 6 times. It was Inception movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, remember? And every time you watch Inception, you see some more deep sense and more deep some understanding of some process that they show that you didn't see when you watch it first time, like surfacely. And yes, and I had this experience with this movie. So every time you watch it, you understand this phrase more deep, and so it's really cool, and you don't become tired of it. And even in Instagram, I saw the feedback. Some lady started, how it called, when they, hey guys, let's do this, like hashtag, like, so watch the summertime in Ukraine second time, go to theater second time. Yes, and also there was a feedback in some story that one lady told that, yes, when I watched first time, it was really cool, but then I went second time and I understand like much more. So they even use this some hashtag or something that, hey guys, let's go second time, third time. One lady told that, why I want to watch it second time first, she says, because all the profit of the movie is goes to the unit. Second time, this movie is sexy. And third, this movie is very sexy. I was like, it's definitely not
We have a
very
question
intelligent job.
We have a question from Chris. Chris is regular on the podcast. It's one of the most interesting viewers. So he's saying, what's your favorite English language movie?
English language movie?
Yeah, so something, I mean, the British American, something they could relate to.
In the meaning that the movie that I watch in original in English, or just Western movie?
I guess Western movie.
Western movie, the first very long period of time, it was Sicario, with Josh Brolin and this guy from Latin America, Benicio del Toro.
Okay.
And yes, and now my favorite too is Yellowstone with Kevin Costner, and the same crew, the same filming company, the same team made another show, 1883. And the funniest thing that all these three movies, they have the same scenario writer, how you call it in English?
Screenplay.
Scenarist.
Yeah, the writer, same writer.
Yeah, the same writer. So this guy definitely knows something, So I was a great fan of Sicario since 2015. Now these two series, and the same guy did it. So
interesting.
really
What's his name, Vlad?
I will not forget now.
Well, Chris knows what you're talking about. He understands, because I haven't heard about it. I haven't watched.
You'll enjoy.
What?
You will enjoy.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Taylor Sheridan.
Okay.
Taylor Sheridan. Yeah. You know something.
Yeah. Well, if we talk about my films, the first, I have few, but the first one coming to my mind, it's Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and I like everything about spies, and I like everything what John Le Carré wrote. So yeah, I grew up on films and series about intelligence and spies, which made by Soviet filmmakers, and see, Johnny says Yellowstone was awesome, hoping for the third season. Guys, you on the same thing.
Yeah, but Kevin Costner in fifth season, so I don't know even if to start to watch the fifth season. But it's cool.
To watch it, because I have to understand what I'm talking about. I haven't. Was there any disappointment during the filmmaking and from those guys who were characters in the film, in the documentary?
Disappointment?
Yeah, something. Розчарування.
No, I understand. I just try to understand. The hardest part was to film the part when they do actual mission, and it was hard because when you will watch the movie, it's about 1.5 hours, but the объем материалов, the amount of material that was filmed, it was days long. And then these guys started to assemble this story. So they filmed a lot, but then they cut it, assemble it, and we have 1.5 hours. But the hardest part was to film the actual mission because of safety rules, because of common sense, yes, and again, it's documentary. We couldn't organize mission specifically, to film guys. We had to deal with what we had, and the amount material of from this mission was maybe, and I also heard this negative feedback. Maybe it was not too much, maybe some people expected maybe some more combat, more some like John Wick style, some some like hack down, like shooting, but we filmed regular routine of Ukrainian fighters. It's a job, and it's very often it's скучная и boring and routine, so it looks like this in reality. It's documentary, yes, and it was operation in one of the directions that there wasn't some this CQB missions or something like this. This operation was like this, and it looks in reality like this. And some guys expected, or some people expected in the cinema, that they will watch some Tyler Rake, the guy running with knife, killing everybody one by one. But this is documentary movie. And the shooting is real, and that happens there. And it was quite dangerous mission, actually, really dangerous. So maybe something like this. So we
squeezed
down. We squeezed the maximum that we could do from this reality, these circumstances, from these circumstances that we had, and the majority of feedback that I get and that I hear, and also very interesting fact about dislikes, about haters. Ukraine is very, there are a lot of dislikes and haters about everything.
Really?
But I've never seen up to now any dislike or hate about this movie. And if you know something about Ukrainian like media sphere, this is really not regular. It's really rare situation, and it's cool.
Okay, I'll say a few things. So Chris joined a bit later. Chris, the name of the film Summertime in Ukraine. It's a documentary about the Americans who are fighting for Ukraine.
About foreigners.
With International Legion of Defense Intelligence in Ukraine. At the moment, if you on territory of Ukraine, you can watch it in Trumflug. Welcome to the podcast. And so you can watch it in cinema. But we, all people outside of Ukraine, we are waiting. Vlad is working very hard to make this possible for us to have access to the film and watch it finally. I think it's going to be one of the accessible stream platforms, right? Vlad?
Yes, right, but it's not actually Vlad. It's this entire team of people and the guy, first of all, filming company. It's not Legion's movie. It's movie made by Babylon 13. They're actually, it's their movie that's made with our unit, about our unit. So they are great. They do a great job. Yes, they're professional. And also they first of all, yes, they work on, as far as I know, to make this movie represented on festivals. These festivals where everybody wear tuxedo, red carpet, pretty women with little dogs, paparazzi. So we hope. And,
One day in Cannes.
I don't know. It would be really funny, to be like part of the movie that goes exactly to the Cannes. Then I'll be.
And then Oscar.
Huh?
And then Oscar
No,
nomination.
this is too much. No, this is too much.
No, there's never too much of success or
This is
recognition. And
This is
especially, can you imagine for the guys, they came to save Ukraine and then they're going back home to visit Oscar. Can you imagine this sort of like the shift of the emotions and excitement and pride?
Як умова? Одна умова.
Condition.
Only one condition, that the guy that will announce this Oscar, yes, it will be Mel Gibson, or this Kevin Costner, Then yes, okay.
So Jean-Luc says, yes, military is mostly waiting, had to learn this as well. Okay, and Chris recommending us dramas Chinatown and Goodfellows. And he's asking, have you seen Munich?
Munich movie? About München, tak. Yes, of course, sure. It's old movie, 2006, as far as I remember. This Eric Bana is main character, right?
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't watched it, but I'll check it out, Chris. Thank you. So all the money made by film, what are they going to do with this money?
So the full profit of this broadcasting in the Ukrainian cinema networks will go to as a donation to official charitable foundation of our unit, and we are going to produce customized FPV drones with this money. We have really solid and really professional drone operators in our unit. There are a lot of videos in our social media how they work, how they operate with their results, and this weapon system is very important and very efficient now. So when this broadcasting in Ukrainian cinemas will be finished, these promoters, or how they call it, these companies that show it in the cinemas, they will transfer this profit, the final profit, to our charitable foundation. Yes, and it's cool also. And a lot of people, they watch movie, they make screenshot, they make these stories. Go to the Babylon 13th movie summertime in Ukraine, watch about the DIU Legion, because when you buy ticket, it goes to the guys that are not supposed to be here, but they are here and they are cool. Let's go watch movie second time, third time. Yeah, let's go. It's really cool. And I wanted to waste a couple seconds of your time, to say thank you very much to the audience and for their feedback, for their understanding. I hope this movie made a little bit more understandable the essence of the phenomenon of foreigners fighting in Ukrainian armed forces. They are Ukrainian official military personnel. They are not mercenaries. They are military personnel, but they are foreigners. And a lot of people, like civilian, they ask questions also. These guys are still here. They are with us. This is actually, they are our Western partners too.
Yes.
Yes.
Their lives.
When this lady, I was giving interview a couple of days ago in the Ukrainian television, she told the phrase that usually we discuss, as Western countries, we discuss presidents, we discuss like Macron, we discuss Scholz. But look at this, like Western world with us, and they're running with rifles. And we never even think about this. So I hope it will make this process understandable, and not to show that this process exists, but to explain the motivation, explain why, explain how it looks like with their eyes, with their background, with their mindset from some Washington state or some Arizona state. How the guy from Arizona, former professional soldiers, sees it. So thank you very much for everybody that joined this project and spent this time with
You
us.
actually started answering the question I was about to ask. From the trailer, that's the only thing I repeat again I watched so far. I sense strong positivity, inspiration, courage, but my question is, Ukrainians, those civilians who came to watch it, they came for the positivity because I can understand how difficult for them daily under attacks, and there's deaths and ruined, like recently was ruined the beautiful central hotel in Odessa, and these poor cities suffering a lot. So people came more for positivity, or they came more with gratitude to those foreigners who came to save Ukraine. What do you think?
The majority of people, they go to the cinema with interest, but they don't expect what they see. Again, this movie is if you like think that you will see something, it will be totally different. It will be not what you expected. And that's why when people go there because of interest, because they watched in some stories, somebody advised to go, or they had free time, or somebody told that the ticket will be donation to the ZSU, and they, okay, I'll go. But then after the movie, they said that it didn't make me feel, this re-traumatization or some, to my fears and scares, because the movie is not about this. And even opposite, it helped to deal with this re-traumatization. A lot of people in Ukraine, and they told even me personally, some women's during these question and answer sessions, I heard the phrases that we are not ready to go to the movie about the war during the war. But this movie is not what we expected. And it was like, this обезболивающее, анальгин, this.
Painkiller.
Yeah. It even helped because this movie explained and showed the example how you can. It showed the example of the skill of the guys, and it's a skill. It's not because they are like this, these guys like this. It's a skill, and it's a habit to feel happy and to have fun and to enjoy the life in the worst and the most ugly situations and environments. And it's the skill, it's a choice that people does. Yes, choice. And it's not about they are just cool. They made a decision. Yes, the situation is hard, the training is hard, operation is hard. You have your teammates that are injured or something like this. But it doesn't. But if or you will be all the time sad and all the time, як англійською, ныть, complaining, or you will have, this some, fun, joking, like подкалывать, making jokes to each other, this other stuff. So it's a skill, and as I feel our society, it's in Ukraine, especially in Ukrainian mentality, it's really rare skill, and not a lot of people that even feel how to do this and how to транслювати, how to. So and then they go
How
to
to
this.
express it.
Yes, to express it, and some. I hope, it's my hope, that a lot of people watch this movie and they see that it's possible. They see example, and maybe when they when next time they will have some really ugly and hard situation, they will remember the example of some movie, and maybe they will not be like depressed, but they will maybe try to make some joke to somebody, and to free this negative energy, and maybe to save some psychological condition, and to become stronger. But it's my personal understanding and my personal intent.
Everything. I think you're a bit too critical about Ukrainians, because I remember the first days of a full-scale invasion, and how Ukrainians shocked British people with their sense of humor. How many jokes on Twitter, how many videos. I remember I was numb of shock and pain, and my husband was like every morning, have you seen this? Have you seen that? And it's just like, it was, I think there was, for British people who are very much into humor and think they are know more or less about humor, and they're very proud of English humor. I think Ukrainians won their heart through humor. We have few questions. We have questions
Yes,
from.
I'll add something. Yes, it was 3 years ago, and since that period of time, in reality, very lot of people became tired. And if this movie will have them to refresh this condition, it will be really good done job. Even if our recruiting rate will not increase, even if after the movie we'll get like a couple dollars, but not some good budget for our FPV drones. But if it will make at least even one individual more positive and more relaxed and more psychologically strong, I will feel myself that this job was really, really done well.
So we have a few questions. Chris is saying, American movie taking place in Ukraine. Everything is illuminated. Have you heard of it?
One more time, American what?
American movie taking place in Ukraine. Dvokrapka. Everything is illuminated. I haven't. Have you?
I haven't.
And Johnny says it's a comment to our sort of part about humor. What people often do not understand is that joking is a form of mental self-defense. Absolutely, Johnny. Absolutely.
Yes. This is very cool phrase to explain all this amount of words that I try to describe. Yes, it's about mental strength. Yes.
Absolutely. Chris says, sorry for all your questions. No, Chris, thank you for all your questions, and thank you everyone for the questions, because he sort of like, this is the dialogue we wanted to achieve, didn't we? And especially we have so many films to share, because we talk about the great film I'm definitely looking forward to watch it. And as soon as it's known on which streaming platform it's going to be, I will announce, and we might have another conversation about it after we watch it and share our thoughts, because it's something, I guess, the income from screening abroad is going to be as well used for International Legion, isn't it?
We hope so.
Fingers crossed. So yes, help Ukraine, support Ukraine, and Vlad.
Yes,
and support International Legion.
Yes, and be open-minded. Yes, there are still a lot of myths. There are still a lot of different, this information that is actually not true about foreigners here, about our country, and be open-minded. Maybe try to keep some interest, yes, about what's going on here, and because we really have really talented people. Even these guys from Babylon 13, they're really talented people. The picture is great, the sound is great, the music is great, and the music was done by a Ukrainian musician, and he recorded especially for this unit. So I hope this movie will definitely get increase little bit understanding of that there are a lot of stuff is going on here that's maybe not often exposed in mainstream medias and mainstream social media platforms.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you, Vlad, for finding energy. I know how tired you are, and you made it to Kiev, and you found some sort of
Easy day was yesterday. Yes.
Thank you, everyone who joined us. And if you haven't watched it live, thank you for joining after we were live. And please watch the film as soon as you can. And while you can't watch the film at the moment, please look at the teaser, which calls Vlad, Summertime in Ukraine.
Summertime in Ukraine, yes.
International Legion. If you go to YouTube, and you will see.
Or our social medias like DIU, Daniel E.U, Legion, International Legion DIU. Yes.
And yeah, and take care, everyone. Stay safe. Try to enjoy every bit of positive events and things happening in your life. Vlad, thank you very much. And welcome with your open face. I'll say again for those who haven't heard, Героям слава. Yes, слава Україні, Johnny. Vlad, this is the second time of Vlad on the podcast. First time he was disguised. He was in Balaclava. His interview with personal, very touching personal stories, an amazing dog. Vlad has. So please check his interview on the podcast. And now we can see his face. He's no secretive agent of Defense Intelligence anymore. And hope to see you more on the podcast. Stay safe. And Tom Flug says, thank you, Vlad and Jenny. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us. Bye. Thank you.